In this video, I'm going to show you how to build this amazing AI automation workflow with n8n that's going to completely automate your candidate screening process. This AI automation is going to extract very important information about somebody who's applying for a job just based on their resume, things like their contact information, their background, their educational background, their work history, and it's also going to rank them from 1 to 10 based on how qualified they are for that particular position, and it's going to provide a justification to why it ranked that person with the score of 1 to 10. So whether you're a recruiter looking to save time, or a company trying to make your candidate evaluation more efficient, or if you're somebody who's looking to sell this automation to a small and medium-sized company, this will be a perfect video for it because I'm going to walk through step by step to show you how to build this thing. So regardless of your background, even if you have no coding background, this is going to make sense to you. I'm super excited to show you this, so make sure you stick around till the end because I'm going to show you a few more important details where now you can make this workflow even more powerful by adding a few additional nodes. All right, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start with a demo so you see exactly how this thing works, and then we're going to come back and step by step walk through the different nodes so that way I can show you exactly how to build this thing, and you can again also add additional nodes that I'm going to talk about how to make this workflow even more powerful so that way it suits your particular needs. All right, so the first thing is you can have different triggers here. I'm going to use a Gmail trigger because I'm going to apply or send my resume to my Gmail. So I'm going to extract that information, my resume, which is a PDF file, and then I'm going to process it. But you can use this as a form submission, meaning that if you have some kind of a form on your website that somebody is going to apply for a particular role directly, you can do that as well. And like I said, I'll show that. But let's go ahead and for now get rid of this form submission so that way I can show you the Gmail, and then we'll come back and take a look at the form as well. All right, so I have a Google Sheet. So what this is doing, this is going to extract all of the information. It's going to grab somebody's CV or a resume when they're applying through email. It's going to process it, and it's going to provide all of that information in our Google Sheet, which is right here. So right now I already processed 2 different applications, one for Alex Carter. So as you can see, we're grabbing the name, the email address, the contact number, and the educational qualification, which will be their educational background, the job history, the skill set, right? We're going to grab all of that. And then this is where we're going to rank, or this AI automation is going to automatically give this candidate a score based on the job qualification or the job description. And it's also going to provide a nice justification as to why it provided that particular score for that candidate. Right, so that's basically what the results are going to look like. So let's go ahead and take a look at this right now. I have Alex Carter and Jordan Smith here. So let me go ahead and remove Jordan Smith, and then I'm going to go ahead and send myself an email. Again, Jordan Smith is just somebody I made up, but I'm going to go ahead and send that email again with that application and my resume attached in that email. All right, so I sent myself an email. As you can see, it says applying for software engineer, and that's the role that I'm applying for. And it's just a simple email saying, hey, I'm applying for software engineer opening at your company. Please find my resume attached. And this resume right here, it says Jordan Smith. Again, just like a typical resume for a software engineer, except this one, he has less work experience. So it's only, he has only self-employed and then also an internship. So the reason why I'm sending this is because the previous email, Alex Carter, he is very qualified. He has a software developer experience. So I want to showcase the difference between how our automation is going to rank these 2 different candidates based on their resume and based on their work experience and qualification. So that's where we're automating this process of candidate screening, right? So let's go ahead and now apply this workflow. I'm going to mark this as unread. So what we're doing right now is just listening with this Gmail trigger. Again, I'm going to walk through step by step, but let's go ahead and actually do the demo first. So I'm going to remove this and I'm going to click on test workflow. But before that, as you can see right here, I only have Alex Carter here and there's nothing else here. So you will see once we run this thing, we'll have Jordan Smith's qualification and information added to that Google Sheet. So let's go ahead and click on test workflow. So what this is going to do is now it's going to run that Gmail trigger. It's going to grab that CV from the file, add it to Google Drive. This is going to extract that information from that file, and then we'll walk through on these different nodes as to what's happening and what we're grabbing from this particular drive or CV that we got downloaded from our Google Drive, right? So now it's going to merge all of that information, and now it added it to Google Sheet. So now let's go ahead and take a look at our sheet, and there you go, right? We got the name, Jordan Smith, the email address, contact information, the educational qualifications, the job history. As you can see, it says freelance web developer, self-employed, and this is exactly what was inside the resume that we saw. The skill set, and the score is ranked at 4 out of 10. The justification, it said that the candidate has foundational education and some relevant technical skill, but lacks significant industry experience, particularly in scalable architecture and cloud-based system. And again, this is because we have set a criteria, and that's why it's ranking this particular candidate based on that criteria. So you can do this yourself. Obviously, whatever you're hiring for, you can add that criteria inside your workflow or inside your automation, and this will automate that entire process. So that way, next time you come in, you can just basically filter your candidates based on the score. Like, for example, if you only want to see the candidates that have a score of 8 to 10, then you can easily do that. So that way you don't have to look at every single resume. All right. So now that you saw that demo here, now let's go ahead and take a look at our workflow and see what's going on here. All right. So the first thing is our trigger is going to be Gmail. We are going to listen for an event of message received, because again, a lot of companies or small to medium sized businesses are still accepting resumes through email. So that's why this is a great workflow there to automate that process. So what we're doing is we're listening for an email, and we're also looking for the attachment that's inside that email, right? So it's only going to filter for those particular, or it's only going to grab the information that's inside that email with an attachment. So what we're doing here is we're grabbing that CV, and then afterwards we're adding that to the Google Drive. So we're uploading it to our Google Drive, and you can have a parent folder. In my case, I've put just store CVs as folder, so that way I have access to all these CVs if I want to go back and take a look at it at any point. So after uploading that, now I'm adding another Google Drive node to download that file, and I'm going to extract that information right here. So I'm converting this, as you can see, to text. So that way I'm grabbing all of the content of that CV that's inside of that particular file. And then afterwards, so I'm having two different AI nodes here. First is going to be this extract information node. And again, this is just the basic LLM chain. So what this is doing, let me expand this a little bit. All right. So what this is doing is we're grabbing the information. So let me go back right here. So we're grabbing the information, this text that we extracted from our previous node from the Google Drive. So right here, we're saying JSON.text, which is just basically grabbing this here. And then we're putting an input schema, because we want to only grab this information. We only want to extract the name, the email, and the contact number in this particular node, right? So that's why we're just defining this schema type below. And again, I didn't do any coding at all. You can use a ChatGPT or a Claude to be able to do this, and I'm going to show that a little bit how to do that. So I'm literally just grabbing the schema, and the reason why you want to do it this way, so that way you can output this as a JSON line item, so that way you can grab it and do more things with it in the next nodes, right? Which I'm going to show in a little bit. All right. So that was kind of the first information that we're extracting. And again, this doesn't necessarily mean this is the only way you can do it. So if you want to combine all of this, you can put this inside an AI agent or just a separate node. But this is just for me because I wanted to separate the contact information versus everything else that I'm going to grab from the resume. That's why I did this. So and that's exactly what I'm doing this step. This is just an OpenAI node. You don't have to have OpenAI here. If you want to, for example, add Claude or some other large language model, you can easily do this as well here. But in my case, obviously using an OpenAI node, so just GPT-4o Mini, and the text is going to be the CV. The CV is coming directly from the extract file information again, and you're defining a rule here. So what I'm doing is I'm giving it a proper instruction, a guideline saying, hey, you're the most accurate and efficient CV summarizer known for producing concise and information summaries. So this is going to give it that instruction saying extract and summarize information from the CV, the educational qualification, the job history, the overview of their skills and achievements, the skill set, and we're also giving it this evaluation criteria, right? So let me give some space here so that way you can see this a bit better. So here's where we're defining how we're scoring each candidate, right? So we're saying evaluate the candidate based on the provided job requirements, right? And this is where you need to add that job requirements. So we're analyzing the relevance, right? We're comparing the candidate's education, work experience, and skill set with the provided job description, right? And then we're telling it, here's how you assign the score from 1 to 10. 1 to 3 is weak match, moderate, 7 to 8, strong match, and a 9 to 10 excellent match. That's going to be perfect fit or exceeding expectation, right? So we're going to also provide a brief justification for the assigned score. And that's what we saw earlier as far as the column right here, because it needs to tell us why it gave this particular candidate a score from 1 to 10. So therefore we're grabbing that information as well. And then on top of that, obviously we want to grab the educational background, the job title, the skill set, right? And then we're also telling it what not to do, right? So here's for the justification. We're like, hey, do not include any personal information as the contact address, blah, blah, blah. We want to omit any relevant education, job, skill information, or we don't want to omit any relevant education, job, and skill information. And then you don't want to use any informal language or excessive detail for that particular justification, right? So, and then we're giving this example output like education qualification, software developer, score, and the justification right here. And this is what's exactly it's going to do. It's going to simplify the output, and then this is going to spit out that content in one JSON schema. So then what we're doing is we're going to grab that information, right? We're just going to grab this content to make the data a little cleaner. And now I'm using a code node. Again, one of the most powerful tools in n8n is this code node, because you don't have to know how to code. You just basically copy and paste this inside your your large language model. So for example, in my case, I'm using a custom GPT that I created for my school members. So if you are part of the school community, you'll go to this classroom section and click on start here. So right here, you'll be able to grab this custom GPT that I made for my school community just for n8n. So what you're going to do is just basically go back and forth with that and just have it create a code node for you, or the code generate that code specifically, so that way it meets exactly the output that you're looking for, right? So very, very simple. In this code node, I literally just told my GPT architect that, hey, I want to grab the information that's going to be, go back here, that's going to only spit out the education qualification, job history, skill set, score, and justification. And that's very, very simple. That's exactly what it did, right? So I went ahead and extracted that code right here. So this is the output, and this is the input that was coming in from that edit field. So basically just this. And then the next thing what I'm doing is adding a merge node. So this is going to combine the information that's coming in from our information extractor, which is the candidate name, email address, and contact information, and then these other 5 different things that came out from our code node that's based on the extraction of that candidate CV, right? So once you merge that, then we're going to now add all of that information to our Google Sheet. Our Google Sheet only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns, and each one we're going to match into our in our node right here. So again, same thing. I'm just using the resource or sheet within document. You're going to have an operation that's going to say append row, because we're going to add that row inside our Google Sheet, and then we're going to map each column manually. So if you have connected your Google account properly, so this should automatically load all of the columns that's inside your Google Sheet. And again, this doesn't have to be exactly the columns that I'm showing here. You can add whatever you want based on the criteria that you're looking for, right? So, but I'm literally just grabbing the candidate name from here. So literally grab and drop here, and and the same thing with your skill set, score, and justification. You're adding it here, and this is what the output's going to look like. And this is going to work every single time, because you're ensuring and manually grabbing this column information directly from your previous node, right? And that's exactly what it's going to look like. So now here's some more things you could do, right? So for example, once this is done, now you can add additional nodes here. For example, you can add an AI agent that's going to actually evaluate, or another node that's only going to send you or filter the candidates that meet a certain qualification score. So for example, if you only want to grab, for example, the top 3 candidates, then you'll be able to do that and send that resume to your email directly, to a Slack channel, to your HR department, so that way you're completely automating that process again. But again, for demo purposes, I just wanted to make sure you see exactly what the information this is grabbing and what it's capable of, but you could do a lot more with this. So that's kind of from the Gmail perspective. Now, another thing is you can actually add a form here, right? So you can add a form submission. So this will trigger every time somebody fills a form on your website. So if somebody has a small or medium-sized business, or if you're a company that has a recruiting company or HR company, on your careers page, you can attach that form. This is just an n8n form, but this could be something that could be a Google form, a type form, because n8n has a lot of those nodes already here. If you just click on add node and search for form, it has all these different form triggers like form.io, SurveyMonkey, Typeform, Wufoo form. Like there's lots of different forms that are available, right? So you can add depending on what kind of form you're using, or you can build your own custom form if you want, and you can use a webhook trigger or an HTTP node to be able to grab all of that information, right? So there's lots of different options. And it's the same thing, right? You can just attach this directly to your Google Drive, or not Google Drive necessarily. If you don't want to download that, you can just directly attach this to your extract information nodes, or just like add another node here that's going to grab all of that information that somebody puts on that form, and then it's going to clean that data with a set node, and then you'll be able to process it further down the line. So there's like I said, different options here that's available. So there's lots you can do here. Again, for those of you who are part of the schools, you can grab this workflow in particular from right here, so that way you can import it in your n8n instance. And the way to do that is all you have to do is go to the top right hand corner here, click on import from file, and you'll be able to download this JSON file inside your n8n workflow, so that way you can build on top of this, and this will be like a good base or a foundation for you. And once you add additional nodes for depending on whatever your use case is, you can obviously add your questions to the Ask and Assist channel, or jump in one of the calls, so that way you can ask your questions, or if you're building this or selling it, you can jump into the AI Business Hub tab, so that way you can collaborate with somebody to provide this service to other companies. And obviously, if you're interested about learning how to build amazing AI agents and much more, please make sure you join the community, the school community, because it's a great place for you to really grow together as a community and learn together. And if you get stuck somewhere, you always have the opportunity to ask us questions. Usually we get back to you within a few hours. If not, you can always jump into one of the calls. You can watch the call recordings. We have live builds. We have all sorts of tech support calls that you can jump in and ask your questions. Or if you have anything in particular that you want to contribute to and collaborate with somebody, there's lots of opportunities there. I'm going to put the link in the description. Make sure you check it out. Hopefully I'll see you inside. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you found this helpful, and I'll see you on the next one.